6 teenagers, Sione, Stephen, Kolo, David, Luke, and Mano, whose ages ranged from 13 to 16, attended a boarding school in Tonga, a Pacific Ocean island nation. Driven by boredom, a rebellious spirit, and a longing for excitement, they stole a traditional whaling boat and embarked on a journey to Fiji. They had brought along only a small number of bananas and coconuts, overlooking the need to carry a map or compass. The teens were used to the sea, but they soon realized they had made a big mistake. On the first night, a strong storm tore the sails and rudder from the boat, leaving it crippled. For more than a week, their damaged boat drifted aimlessly. They lacked food and water and had to rely on the wind for direction. To stay alive, they collected a small amount of rainwater and shared it equally among themselves. After 8 days, they spotted an island on the horizon, later recognized as Ata. Unbeknownst to them, they had drifted over 100 miles from their starting point. As the boat drew closer, a wave forcefully hurled it against the rocky coast, reducing it to fragments. The island had previously been inhabited by approximately 350 people. However, in 1863, a British slave trader abducted around 150 of them, forcing them into slavery. The island's ruler moved the remaining inhabitants to another island where they would be protected. Initially, the boys lived off raw fish, coconuts, and bird eggs. After a few months, they ventured into the island's higher areas to locate additional resources. There, they stumbled upon the remains of a village. Among the debris, they found a machete, cultivated taro plants, and a group of chickens that were descendants of those abandoned by the island's previous inhabitants. They also succeeded in starting a fire, which they maintained throughout their stay. They had so much food that they went on exciting hunts every single day. The boys constructed an improvised settlement featuring a thatched roof hut and a garden. To keep themselves entertained, they set up a badminton court and an outdoor gym with a bench press. Kolo Fesitoa, one of the boys, ingeniously crafted a guitar using materials salvaged from the boat. To brighten their days, they engaged in music and prayer, starting and concluding each day with these rituals.
All my soul shall be near my God to thee, around my God to thee, around to thee.
For 15 months, they figured out how to find food, collect rainwater, and maintain their health. Right from the beginning, they promised not to argue and worked in pairs to finish their daily tasks. They set up a well-organized schedule that took turns for resting, keeping the fire going, getting food, and watching for ships. At one point during their time on the island, a boy named Stephen fell off a cliff and broke his leg. The other boys took care of him during his recovery, using customary Tongan remedies and the soothing touch of seawater. In Tonga, the search teams eventually stopped trying to find the boys. They even held funeral ceremonies because everyone believed the boys had likely passed away. The story of their rescue started during a sail back from Nuku'alofa, the capital of Tonga. During this journey, Mr. Warner and his crew had unsuccessfully sought fishing permissions within the nation's waters. While casually using his binoculars to look at a nearby island called Ata, which people believed had no residents, he saw a scorched area on the ground. He found it odd that a fire would begin on an uninhabited tropical island. As their boat drew nearer, they spotted a naked boy rushing into the water towards them. Suddenly, more teenage boys joined in, swimming towards their boat with shouts of excitement. Remembering that certain island nations confined prisoners on islands such as Ata, he instructed his crew to prepare their rifles. However, when a boy named Stephen finally reached their boat, he shared with Mr. Warner that he and his companions had been stranded for over a year. They survived by relying on the island's resources and attempting to catch the attention of passing ships for help. Mr. Warner, who still had doubts, sent a radio message to Nuku'alofa. After 20 minutes, An emotionally charged operator spoke on the radio, and amidst tears, she confirmed the narrative by the boys. Upon returning to Tonga, Mr. Warner received a warm welcome and was hailed as a hero. The Tongan king, who had previously denied him fishing privileges, changed his stance. However, the owner of the stolen boat was not pleased and had the boys arrested. He eventually withdrew the charges when Mr. Warner offered compensation. This narrative intrigued Australia, and 1 year later, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation dispatched Mr. Warner and the boys to the island again. Their purpose was to recreate parts of their challenging experience for a film crew, which led to the creation of a documentary.